I feel like a lot of my past videos have been very, doom and gloomy in a way, so this is my way of making it more fun for y'all. This is a top 10 list, because I think people like that. The top 10 most peak things. Or I guess things, more specifically, works of art. That's what I'm ranking here. So I made this list in like 10 minutes, so I want to say that recency bias is probably going to be a thing, but I tried to think of just the works of art that have impacted me most in this life. So here's the list, starting with number 10, Red Dead Redemption 2. Now this is a game that I just finished, so the recency bias thing is most definitely at play here, but I mean, I have a hard time believing that myself. When I started this game, it was just so different than the other games I have played. It's so, if you know, it's a slow game. I really didn't think that I would make it through to the end. Because, I also heard it was a easy 60 hours you gotta put into the game to hit credits. But man, it's that story. It pulls you back in. It always leaves you wanting more and wanting to figure out, well, what's gonna be the gang's next move. The only reason why it's so high on my list is because that's the bar I'm setting for the rest of the list. It's not without its problems, of course, but what a masterpiece. Alright, number 9. The Lord of the Rings trilogy. When people say that they don't make movies like they used to, these are the movies that they're talking about. If you knew nothing about Lord of the Rings or the production of the movie going into it, this would be an amazing experience. That's kind of how I experienced these movies for the first time. But then you find out the story of the production behind it and how much love and effort went into the movie. I mean, the set design, the costumes, the props, they get so much praise, and rightfully so. There was apparently a guy who, for 2 days straight, or maybe 2 weeks straight, I don't even know, but the point is that for whatever amount of times, this person just sat there linking all the chainmail together for the costume. No one's really putting that kind of effort into movies anymore, and I guess it shows that these movies are fantastic. They hold up amazingly. And there's so much rewatchability too. I'm gonna spoil the ever-living shit out of the last movie, but shame on you if you haven't watched it, but the part where he's like, "Young hobbits, you bow to no one." Ooh, that gives me chills. But on a second rewatch, you realize that Frodo doesn't really believe that he deserves that praise, because he couldn't destroy the ring when it came down to it. The only reason the ring was destroyed was because Smeagol jumped into the lava along with the ring. It's such a good time. I try to make a point to watch this trilogy at least once every 2 years or so. Alright, number 8, The Jester's Race by the band called In Flames. Now, if you're someone who is like, I like metal, I like the instrumental, but I don't like the screaming, first of all, I think that's bullshit, so, But this is the album for you. The instrumental, and I'm referring to specifically the guitars, but the drums are also great too, but the guitars, they are just so melodic for what you'd expect out of death metal. This is a death metal album. And the vocals kind of act like, they are screamed vocals. I don't think there's any clean vocals, actually. The vocals act as like sprinkles on top of a nice ice cream sundae. I will say too, if you're a fan of The Lord of the Rings, you will like this album. You're gonna have to trust me on that. Number 7, Blood on the Dance Floor by MJ. When people think about Michael Jackson, they think the classic 80s albums, right? You got Off the Wall, you got Thriller, and Bad. And of course there was stuff before, and there was stuff after, but that stuff doesn't really get talked about. Blood on the Dance Floor is actually a remix album of a compilation album that was released in the mid-90s. But let me tell you, the new songs on this remix album, it's like half remixes, half originals. The original stuff is fantastic. It somehow sounds like retro, but also futuristic at the same time. And there's so much groove. I think this is Michael at his artistic peak. Maybe you could say the 80s albums were his commercial peak, which they were. But the 90s albums, that's where he started to step into his own, I think, truly as an artist and as a creative director, kind of. And I'm saying this, there's only like 5, I think, original songs on this album, but I mean, there's a reason it made this list. It is just peak. Number 6, Archer TV show. This is one of those shows that you tell someone that you watch and then they think of you differently as a person. In a bad way. But it's like, man, I don't even care. This show is so funny. The jokes, especially in the earlier seasons, are just so well written and thought out. There are like reoccurring gags, but none of them like overstay their welcome. And even the later seasons, they're not as good, but they are still fun to watch. The main character, Sterling Archer, is a character that you love to hate to love. He's ultimately like the biggest piece of shit, but I mean, it's kind of funny. It is pretty funny, actually. It's also kind of a comfort show. Like, I might be bad, but I'm not that bad, right? Okay, number 5. At number 5, we got Napoleon Dynamite, baby. If Archer is like the pinnacle of like intelligent mental humor, I guess, then Napoleon Dynamite is the pinnacle of physical comedy. I actually watched this for the first time like 2 summers ago. I've never seen it, but oh my god, the jokes are so good. The physical comedy is just, well, I can't even think of a word to describe it. It is good though. This is another one I'll say, like, if you haven't watched this, shame on you. Alright, now at number 4, we got the video game Doom Eternal. This is a modern classic. I don't want to hear any debate about that. I remember seeing this game for the first time. I was not like into games or wouldn't consider myself a gamer, that dirty word. But this game got me into games. I've already made a video about this game actually, but it is just so peak that I'm going to mention it again and put it on the list. Alright, number 3. So I feel like I have a lot of built up cred as a metalhead because that's what I like to listen to. I like to listen to heavy metal. But I'm going to lose all of that cred when I say this. I like pop music. In fact, I love pop music. I didn't always feel that way though. And actually, it wasn't until I heard this album that my opinion completely changed on pop music. And that album is Hook Me Up by the Veronicas. I went into this album expecting to either not like it or just think it's kind of okay. But lo and behold, it's number 3 on this list. This came out in like 2009. I don't think it's like obscure, but it's definitely not like mainstream popular, which is a shame because it's such a fun sound. And I mean, the lyrics, I don't think they're trying to be more than just good pop lyrics, which they are. I think a lot of pop lyrics are either just like straight up bad or they're trying to be more than just pop lyrics, right? But no, this is the reason why I like pop music. For this album. This album was actually in my brain, my top album of 2025. And nothing even came close. You can get mad at me for that and take away all my metal cred, but I don't care, at least I have this album. Any album or like piece of art that I go into expecting to not like and then end up loving always gets bonus points. So, there you go. Alright, and then number 2 on this list is, of course, Nier Automata. Nier Automata. I think that's how you're supposed to say it, actually. This game is so peak. That might be all I can say about it, really, without giving too much away, because the best way to go into this is completely blind. I guess I'll say that there are multiple endings, so you have to play the game 3 times to get to the true ending. And that's maybe about like 30 hours, maybe 35 hours. But there's stuff on that last playthrough where it's just like, okay, this is getting crazy. And then 20 minutes go by, and then I have that same exact thought again. Man, it's getting crazy. How can it get crazier than this? And then 20 minutes later, it gets crazier. I remember after finishing this game, I just sat on my couch staring at like a blank screen, my TV screen, for like an hour. Because I just had to process what I took in. And any piece of art that can make me do that is an all-time masterpiece. Okay, so now before I announce number 1, I have some honorable mentions because there's a lot of good pieces of art out there. So, in no particular order, First up, we got Dirt by Alice in Chains. I actually have a CD of this. Ta-da! It's a good album. The only way to listen to any song on this album is to listen to the entire album in order. And that's the best kind of album. Honorable mention number 2, we got Wall-E. Now this is a good movie. This was back when Pixar made family movies for everybody and not family movies for little tiny infants. It's an amazing story, and I think they really hit their stride with the animation as well. Honorable mention number 3 is Modern Family, the TV show. This is like my ultimate comfort show. There's nothing really else that does it for me. I think the lighthearted moments are still sincere enough, and the more serious moments are never too heavy. It's all around just a feel-good show, I feel. And honorable mention number 4, actually hold on, is this painting right here. This is The Dreamer by Caspar David Friedrich. Come on, no glare. Alright. I'm not like an art nerd or art buff or anything, but this painting, it speaks to me. It's a very nice painting. It's just a print, of course, but this is peak. I already made a video about this painting, so that's why it's an honorable mention. But without further ado, I'm gonna announce the most peakest thing ever in history. Alright, number 1. Avatar, The Last Airbender. When you look up peak in the dictionary, this is the show that comes up. I mean, I don't even know what to say. It speaks for itself. This is, again, another show that had me just sitting on my couch in front of the TV, a blank TV, just questioning existence and my life and what I just witnessed. Of course, it's not without its problems, but I think masterpieces need flaws in order to make them masterpieces, really. But when you look at the big picture, the whole thing, this is just the timeless story of the hero's journey just executed on an immaculate level. I never watched the show as a kid, so that means I watched it for the first time ever as an adult, and yeah, they don't make them like they used to. If you take away anything from this video, take away the fact that you should watch this show if you haven't. And if you have watched the show, go watch it again. It is peak. But there you go. That's my video. I guess comment below if you have another thing that is peak that you want to tell me about. Then maybe I'll check it out, maybe. But, okay. Hope this video was more fun than my last videos as well. Alright, peace.